Pop culture provides us as a society with a lot of drama that has been dramatized. Given a front row seat to the most recent developments in a real-life, high-profile criminal case, it's not surprising that our attention grows. We can't wait to speculate and make decisions based on fresh information, while sitting in the comfort of our own homes as honorary jurors. Learn more about some well-known court cases that captivated the nation and beyond to refresh your memory of the criminal justice system in the United States. 6 compelling judicial instances that kept viewers in America hooked to their screens. Number 6. Simpson O.J. If we didn't begin our list with the case known as the trial of the century, we would be negligent. We're talking about the grand dame of all media spectacles from courtrooms. Orenthal James Simpson v. the people of the state of California. The entire nation was on edge when former NFL running back O.J. Simpson was charged with 2 counts of murder for the 1994 killings of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. In addition to having a well-known defense team, known as the Dream Team, representing the well-known defendant, the case attracted previously unheard-of levels of media attention. The trial ultimately lasted 11 months due to numerous delays brought on by this extensive attention. Witnesses were barred from testifying in the hearing after they started selling their tales to tabloid newspapers. The process of selecting jurors proved to be contentious, since it was challenging to choose a group of prospective jurors who could stay impartial in the face of the non-stop media coverage surrounding Simpson's arrest and the murder investigation. During the trial, 10 jurors would be removed for a variety of reasons. Only 4 of the original jurors remained on the final panel. It's also true that by having Court TV and other news organizations broadcast the proceedings, the American public was essentially allowed into the courtroom. After arduous court hearings and contradictory testimony for several months, Simpson was ultimately judged not guilty of the crimes, a decision that shocked the whole country. Number 5. The Ted Bundy case. Ted Bundy's criminal trial made history by being the first to be nationally aired, even though the O.J. Simpson trial is still unofficially recognized as the trial of the century. Bundy was by no means the last serial killer to strike our nation. He was merely not the first. However, a lot of people were drawn to the charismatic sociopath for some reason. Even after being jailed for numerous murders and sexual assaults, Bundy, who was regarded as having movie star good looks, remained popular with young girls. Not only did Bundy receive hundreds of love letters from admiring ladies while he was incarcerated, but young, attractive women would frequently line the rows of his trial in the hopes of catching a look at him. The intriguing criminal chose to represent himself in court. During his questioning of Carol Ann Boone, his loyal girlfriend and defender of his innocence, he made a stunning proposal to her. Bundy was tried more than once since. Before his ultimate arrest and trial, he was able to break out of both a courtroom and a jail. In the end, his deeds led to 3 distinct murder verdicts and death sentences for each of them. In 1989, he was electrocuted to death. Number 4. Anthony Casey. From the time Casey Anthony was detained in 2008 on suspicion of killing her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, the case captured the attention of the nation. This young mother's strange and constantly changing accounts of what happened in her daughter's final days and hours stunned the nation. Many observers could see that Anthony was hiding something from the story he told about a fictitious nanny kidnapping Kaylee to the months of lies he said about keeping up a job he didn't have. Every media outlet imaginable covered the trial like it was a circus, with updates being released several times a day. Following the live broadcast of the proceedings on cable networks, Anthony gained notoriety as the most hated mom in America. In 2011, Anthony, who had waited a full month to report her daughter missing, faced the death penalty during her murder trial. Unfounded charges of sexual abuse, forensic evidence suggesting a rotting body may have been in Anthony's car's trunk, and dubious internet searches were among the evidence produced in court. The jury found her guilty of 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to law enforcement, 2 of which were later dismissed, but cleared her of the murder charge after nearly 11 hours of deliberation. The country was taken aback by the verdict. Number 3. Zimmerman George. Based on Florida's contentious self-defense legislation, the George Zimmerman case gained widespread media attention and saw civil rights organizations vocally demand justice. Public pressure on law enforcement did not result in Zimmerman's arrest until 6 weeks after the shooting death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. when Zimmerman claimed to have acted in self-defense. After stopping at a nearby convenience store to pick up some food, Martin set off on foot to return home on the evening of February 26, 2012. When a volunteer for Neighborhood Watch Zimmerman saw him, he thought the youth in the hoodie was suspicious. With 402 calls to the police between January 1, 2011 and February 26, 2012, the neighborhood was renowned for having a fair share of minor crimes. Zimmerman, who had a habit of calling the police to investigate suspicious-looking behavior, reported it. The specifics of what transpired after are unclear. Zimmerman was told by the 911 dispatcher to cease pursuing Martin. Following the call, the two got into a physical altercation that resulted in Zimmerman shooting and killing the 17-year-old, who was only 70 yards from his house. Everyone in the country was on edge as the trial progressed, with some arguing that Zimmerman's claim of self-defense was justified and others saying the shooting was motivated by prejudice. 3 weeks of testimony and a long list of expert witnesses from the prosecution and defense were part of the proceedings. The all-female jury found Zimmerman not guilty of any crimes in July 2013. The decision sparked widespread demonstrations and in-depth discussions on repealing Florida's Stand Your Ground statute. Number 2. Peterson, Scott. For a variety of reasons, the killing of Laci Peterson and her unborn child captured the nation's attention. She was 8 months pregnant when she vanished on Christmas Eve in 2002, had a captivating smile, and seemed to have the ideal marriage to her husband, Scott. Peterson did not lead search teams or make tearful pleas for assistance through the media, despite his claims to the public that he was saddened by his wife's abrupt disappearance. Even still, Laci's family did not view him as a suspect from the outset of the inquiry. Investigators, however, had their doubts. Soon after, it was discovered that Peterson had several extramarital encounters during his marriage to Laci, the most recent of which involved Amber Frey. Frey called the police as soon as she learned that Peterson was a person of interest in his wife's disappearance. According to Frey, Peterson had declared himself a widower for up to 2 weeks before Laci went missing. The arrest took place on April 18, 2003. The dramatic flips and turns of Peterson's trial, which took place from June 2004 to March 2005, included 3 different jury panels and the removal of jurors for a variety of reasons during the deliberation phase. The final jury only deliberated for 7 hours, considering testimony from 184 witnesses throughout 5.5 months, before finding Peterson guilty of killing his wife and unborn child. He sat there, emotionless, while his misdeeds were punished with death. Number 1. McVeigh Timothy. The terrible Oklahoma City bombing rocked the country to its foundation. Coverage of the events leading up to the terror attack in April 1995 was frantic in the media. On that fateful day, 29-year-old Timothy McVeigh, a veteran of the Gulf War, and his accomplice, Terry Nichols, set off a massive truck bomb in front of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. 168 individuals were killed in the explosion, including 3 pregnant women, 6 military members, 99 federal employees, 8 law enforcement officers, and 19 children. The incident was promptly classified as a domestic terrorist assault, with suspicions that it was carried out in response to the federal raid of a Branch Davidian facility in Waco, Texas, nearly 2 years prior. Following a 22-day trial that included 160 witness evidence, the jury found McVeigh guilty on all 11 charges in his federal indictment. His indifferent reaction to the news sent shivers down the spines of those in attendance. McVeigh was given the death penalty by the court on the jury's recommendation on June 11, 2001. Following several rejected appeals and unanticipated postponements, he was put to death by lethal injection. As his execution date drew closer, McVeigh said in one of his last speeches that his sole regret was not demolishing the federal building. Did you like it? Tell us what you think of the video in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.